He was initially very reluctant to spend money, but when he thought about the card, Gerald's guilt immediately lessened. After taking a deep breath, Gerald walked into the Hermes boutique store immediately. "Hello sir, what can I do for you?" A very beautiful salesgirl inside greeted Gerald very politely. Even though there was a trace of contempt in her eyes when she glanced at Charlie's clothes, she was still very polite. She knew that everyone who entered this store would usually look around first, but she did not understand why someone like him would want to enter their boutique store. "I'll take a look around the store first," Gerald replied immediately. This was his first time stepping into such a luxurious boutique store, so he really did not know what to buy. The salesgirl had a cold expression on her face as she looked at Gerald. "Yuri, can you buy me a bag?" At this time, a familiar voice reached Gerald's ear and he saw a beautiful girl walking into the store as she held onto another man's arm. The expression on Gerald's face changed immediately when he turned around and saw the couple. It was none other than Yuri and Xavier. "Hello, is this your girlfriend, mister?" "Lol, she's really very beautiful." As soon as the salesgirl who was serving Gerald earlier saw Yuri, there was a 180-degree change in her attitude as she greeted him with a smile on her face. Everyone knew that Yuri was a second-generation rich kid and he was very eye-catching wherever he went. That was the reason why the salesgirl rushed over to him immediately. "Rachel, this is my girlfriend, Xavier. I've brought her here to take a look today because I'd like to buy her a bag." Xavier blushed at this time. Yuri was indeed a rich young man who was recognized wherever he went. At this time, Xavier pointed at one of the bags before she said, "Yuri, I want this bag." The bag was placed inside a cabinet and it looked very luxurious and grand. Rachel smiled before she said, "This bag is a collector's edition that was introduced during the Hermes 200th anniversary celebration. There are only 200 units of this bag produced worldwide and it's worth $55,000. "What?" Xavier was so shocked and she could not help but gasp out loud. Yuri also jumped up slightly before he smiled and said, "Rachel, if I'm not mistaken, this is a handmade bag with excellent workmanship. It was only released last year and it has already won one of the spots on the list of world's top 10 luxury goods, right?" Rachel was very surprised at Yuri's extensive knowledge. "You seem to know a lot about bags." Yuri shook his head before he said, "I like to research luxury goods, but this is really a very expensive bag." After that, Yuri looked at Xavier before he said, "My dear, you have really exquisite taste. Let's get you another bag that is worth $5,000 or $6,000 instead." Yuri would rather die than purchase a bag for $55,000. Xavier pouted as she said, "Alice's boyfriend bought her a bag worth more than $8,000. Well, I'll have to wait until I get more allowance next month, then." At this time, the other people who have just heard Rachel introducing the bag to Yuri quickly surrounded the cabinet containing the luxury bag. When Yuri was talking about the bag that was worth $55,000, he seemed very knowledgeable. Everyone was very impressed with his knowledge. When Gerald saw that the salesgirl had already left him alone, he no longer wanted to stay in the boutique shop because he did not want Xavier to see him. At this time, a younger salesgirl suddenly walked up to Gerald before she bowed and said, "Hello sir, how can I help you today?" She looked like she had just started working as a salesgirl. She was still a little timid. However, it warmed Gerald's heart because she was very polite.